Good morning, Rabboisai. Today's shir is sponsored Lizchut Refuah Shlema Abchar Daniel Maashah Hindă, 17-year-old brother and friend, Refuah Shlema. By Mayor Plonka, Mazel Tov to MDY Toronto Chabura and the entire MDY mishpacha on the siyum. Thank you to Aryeh Blau and family for hosting the siyum. Thank you, Eli and the whole team. Also by Shlomo Lalezarian for Yosef Chaim Shwekey for joining the MDY family. Wow, we know Chaim. He lives here.
He's the son-in-law of Smoking Teas.
But we need a guy from Los Angeles to get a guy here on Rapid Shemesh. Bush of a charpa, you guys. Boys, I just want to say, I don't know, Gershon, if you could zoom in over here to my left. There's a brand new shas right next to me, donated by Official from Official Catering. Here it is, just came in last night. So yishkoyach. Rabbi said this is what it looked like in Queens last night. A very nice turnout for the siyum in Queens. Rabbi said it's getting better in Chicago. It's getting better. Here we go. Very nice showing in Chicago. But Be'ezer Hashem, I'm going to take this as a personal project. I'm going to make sure this is double next siyum, Be'ezer Hashem. Yeshikoyach Chicago. I see Marty Dauber. Dr. Marty Dauber made the siyum. So for the very first email of the Masechta, I want to show you. This is Ramosha Hirsch, and there's a story to this picture. He does the Orha Merkaz, our newsletter, puts a lot of time into it. So he says, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of such an amazing shir. So during Pesachim, he had a very hard time keeping up with the daf, and he did the siyum with us on Wednesday, and just yesterday, he did his own siyum on Mesachas Pesachim because he kept the idea, since he had a wedding in America, you do the daf that everybody's doing and catch up later. I don't think I've ever felt this way by a siyum. Last night I made a siyum on Sukkah, but tonight my siyum on Pesachim was different. I've waited so long to make the siyum, Pesachim. You know, we did Yuma, Shkol in between. Waiting for the opportunity to finally say the Hadran on it. Thank you, Rebelli. No words can express the Hakar Tov I and my wife have towards you. Yishkoyach, Ramosha Hirsch. There's a ton of emails that came in yesterday. Here's some of them. I didn't even print out all of them. I'm not going to get through all of them, obviously. The ones with the pictures come first, obviously. Here's a picture, this center guy. Really enjoy the share every day. I'm proud I've finished my first Masechta with MDY. Looking forward to finishing many more. Rafal Posen. Obviously, he's from London. Here you can see the London, the LO over here. So, Yishkoyach, Mazel Tov to you. Here's a beautiful email. It says like this. Iron Man and Daf Yomi. I've been listening and enjoying this shir for the last few weeks, motivated to continue learning Daf with you. After I heard the great Maaseh, after I started listening to your shir, I read an article in mishpacha about you. It seems like you like being out of the box and setting big goals. I recently set a huge, big, hairy, audacious goal for myself to complete an Ironman 70.3. This consists of 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike ride, and a 13-mile run. I am a firm believer that if you set your mind to do something, you can achieve it. Now listen to this, Rabbi. On Sunday, I completed my first Ironman, Mazel Tov. It's a huge accomplishment. After a 3-hour drive home, so after everything, he runs and swims, and he drives 3 hours home. I wanted nothing more than to take a hot shower and go to bed. However, the daf was waiting for me. Your Geshmak Shir got me through a very tough day, and I'm not sure I would have been motivated enough to do it on my own, so Yeshikoyach. The musar is that if we can do crazy gashmis things like an Ironman, then we can also do the hard ruchnis things like learning the daf every day. There's nothing that is impossible. Wishing you atzlach and oyev kodesh, Eli Shochet, CFP. I call him the Iron Shas Man, and here he is, Eli Shochet at the finish line. Beautiful. What? I don't know. Let's see what it says. He wants to know if you're from Toronto. 416. Is that a Toronto number? Yeah. Do you want his number? You know him?
Little guy with a lot of muscle.
He's a little guy with a lot of muscle. A lot of people know you. It's a small world. The shir makes the world a lot smaller. Nachman's song, Dov Harris. Nachman's song is truly awesome. One question: must I listen to it at 1.5 times speed like I do for the shir? Thanks, Rebelli, for all the Shalom Aleichem.
Kind of funny. Do whatever you want.
Rebelli, thank you, Rebelli, for all the Shalom Aleichem and Shalom Aleichem, the hundreds of new UK sign-ups to the shir. I hope he's not exaggerating. Warmly, Dove Harris, London, UK. Hundreds. This one, I'm just going to go run through these emails. This is a long one from Jonathan Polier. Polier. Jonathan Polier, not Pollard, Polier. This is first siyum, and he's 45 years old. Mazel Tov to the MDY Lakewood siyum as well. Saw a picture over there with Eli Trapper. Gets a Mazel Tov, became uncle again. Hello, Rebelli. Amazing music video of Nachman Seltzer's song. Thank you, Yosef Chaim Shwekey. I also want to thank you for your advice. I'm falling behind with the daf. When I fell behind, I just did that, did these daf, and that gave me more drive to want to make up the missing dafim. Moshe Rifkin by Adam Austin. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Rebelli. I recently listened to your amazing Daf Yomi. Another great catchphrase is, you don't go through the Daf Yomi, the daf goes through you. You don't go through Daf Yomi, the daf goes through you. Have a great day. Adam Austin. I wonder if he's related to the Austin brothers. This is Moshe from the Midwest. Big Talmud Chacham. I've been zoich to sit and learn for many years. Spend my days delving into the deepest sugis of Shas. However, I wanted to do Daf Yomi for a number of reasons. To be together with the tzibur, to be able to have a basic view of the Masechtas, to have a lighter limud. Rebelli, I recently found your shir. I love the ruach. Mazel Tov, MDY, big siyum in Miami. Where's the pictures in Miami? Yeah, Yishvacha sender. I love the ruach. Hearing you give, I didn't show any picture of Miami yesterday? I thought I did. Maybe not. Hearing you give this shir gave me such a cheshek to give time for learning the blat simple. You hear, this is a guy that learns all day, but now he has a cheshek to do Daf Yomi. All right, so Yishkoyach Moshe from the Midwest. Jay Nathanson, 2 gifts. His son Yedidi just began Aschal's Gemara in 5th grade. He watched him do the daf, so now he became the Talmud HaShavua in Elam Metzias. I want to welcome 2 new recruits. Again, if anybody has a Karas HaTov to the shir, just bring another person. So here, he brought 2 gifts. One of them is a zechus to be learning with from the beginning of Beitzah several times, failed attempts to learning this mishpacha together. His name is Evan Honingsfeld, here in Woodmere. He's a real estate manager in an apartment in the Alexander, Miami Beach. That's where my shver owns an apartment. And right across from Alexander is our house, across the water, directly across from the Alexander. The other is Chaim Wolfish of Baltimore, New York. So Yishkoyach. What's going on with Baltimore? How come they don't have siyumim? You sure you got to do something in Baltimore? And one more. Mendy Deblinger. The Tiferes Yisrael has a really great pshat. If it's Beitzah or Beya, it's worth checking it out. P.S. I took the heat trying to recruit someone to the shir. I didn't think it would actually get anyone, but I succeeded. I got one of my friends to join. After just 1 shir, he's hooked. Shkoyach. Thank you so much for all the time and everything making the shir. Instead, Mendy Deblinger. And another one, David Address loves Nachman's song, and coming from a guy that was mechaber songs for us already, it has the makings of all the greats like MDY, Fried, Dax, etc. David Address. Shkoyach David. All right, here we go. We are on the bottom of Daf Beis, Amud Beis, approximately 8 lines up. I just wanted to do a quick review of what we learned yesterday. It wasn't the easiest of sugyas. Real quickly, we're going to go through this 2-3 minutes, and you'll have a much clearer understanding of what's going on. The Mishnah says that an egg that was laid on Yontif, according to Beis Hillel, is usher to eat. He's machmer, usher to eat it. You could eat it the following day after Yontif, but not on Yontif. The Gemara gives us 4 reasons, 4 pshatim in the machlokes. Does anybody remember all 4? No, because we didn't learn all 4. We learned only 2. First pshat is, it goes according to Rav Nachman, this pshat, and there are 2 types of chickens actually. There's a chicken that you grow to eat, and there's a chicken that you have to lay eggs. Rav Nachman is the only one out of the 4 that says it's a chicken that lays eggs. And therefore, there's a concept of muktzah. You had no intent of eating this chicken because he's there to work. He's a workhorse. She produces eggs. So Mela, it's muktzah. But Beis Hillel say it's muktzah only on Yontif. They have a concept, they differentiate between Yontif and Shabbos. Here, Nachum. between Yontif and Shabbos. Why? Because Yontif there's a kula to it. We cook on Yontif, so people take it easy on Yontif. They might touch it, so we make zayers and we say there's muktzah. And therefore we still say this egg is muktzah. Not only does it come from a muktzah chicken, but it's even worse. It's noilad. It was created now. It's worse. But that's only in Shabbos. And we bring a raya from a Mishnah that if a beam falls off a ceiling on Shabbos, on Yontif, you can't use it. It's muktzah. You can't put it in the fireplace. But that's on Yontif. On Shabbos, on the other hand, there's no muktzah, say, Beis Hillel, according to Rav Nachman. Why? Shabbos is chomer. So for instance, if you have fish bones on your table, you have pitzuchim that are mamish muktzah, not really for achilas kelev, you just take it with your hand, you scoop it up with your hand. There's no muktzah on Shabbos, say Beis Hillel. According to Bishami, there would be muktzah, you'd have to flip over the table. That is, 1 minute, let me go fly through this. I told everybody 2-3 minutes. Let's do it in 2-3 minutes, then afterwards. So, the Gemara asks a kasha on Rav Nachman, and that's the reason why these three don't hold over Rav Nachman. If the problem is muktzah, so then why is the Mishnah, the first word in the Masechta, Beitzah, say tarnagoylas. A tarnagoylas that's there to lay eggs is muktzah. Why are you talking about an egg? Talking about the chicken? Okay. Then comes Rabbah and says the problem is hachana, and that in fact seems like the halacha. The Rif only talks about Rabbah, doesn't talk about any of the other shittas. It's called the hachana de Rabbah. The problem is the preparation. The egg, we're talking about only a yontif that fell out on a Sunday. It fell out on a Sunday. The egg was created inside the chicken on Shabbos. And there's an isser to create from Shabbos to Yontif, and from Yontif to Shabbos. So what about a Yontif in the middle of the week? So here, if the Yontif is on the red circle, it's a problem because the egg was created on the blue circle. But what if the egg was created on the green circle? There's no Shabbos before it, should be mutter. Xera, this ought to this. Okay, so that's basically where we are holding. What was your kasha?
On Shabbos, are we allowed to eat an egg that was born on Shabbos?
No, that's the good shaila right now.
No, according to the first...
It doesn't have
Shabbos, so why?
Whoa! Oh, you're saying because according to that, muktzah on Shabbos. I hear. I have to think about it. Okay. Zok the Gemara. Shabbos the Alma Tishtari. Ask the Gemara, your kasha, but on a different mandamar. Shabbos the Alma Tishtari. Could you eat a raw egg on Shabbos? And by the way, I have a shaila for you. Question, riddle. Not a riddle, question. What is an egg? Is an egg a liquid or a solid? Halachically. What's an afkamina? Afkamina, how much do you have to eat in order to make a bracha achrona? Do you have to eat a kezayis? Or do you have to eat a revius? Very nice, a beitzah. Zeir shein. On Yom Kippur. B'loi lugmav or kisev sagasa. What is it? If you're a chazan and you drink a raw egg, and that's what we're talking about, on Shabbos. How do you eat an egg on Shabbos? You can't cook it on Shabbos. You eat it raw, you're a chazan, you need it. So, that we're going to see actually in today's sugya, is it a salad or... Yeah, is it a salad or a liquid? Fine. Ask the Gemara. Shabbos, the Alma Tishtari. So then what's the problem on Shabbos? If the whole problem is achana, you're telling me the problem is on a yontif that fell out on a Sunday. And the egg was created in the blue on Shabbos. So what about Shabbos itself? The egg was created on Friday. So what's the problem to eat the egg on Shabbos? It's not a problem of achana. There's no achana on Shabbos. According to Rabbi, it shouldn't be a problem. Says the Gemara, Gzeira, Mishum Shabbos Acher Yontif. You have a problem. What happens if Shabbos falls out? Yontif was on Friday. And of course, you cannot be making according to Rabbi. You can't prepare from a Friday to a Shabbos if there's a Yontif on Friday. And maybe you'll have to make a Gzeira. Do we make such Gzeiras? Tanya. Person shechs a chicken, opens up the chicken, finds complete eggs. Now, if the egg comes out on Yontif, we said it's asur to eat the egg. But what about if you shecht? You're allowed to shecht on Yontif. Oichel nefesh. You're allowed to shecht a chicken on Yontif to eat, and you find inside a full egg. You're allowed to eat the egg. Mutar is lachem Yontif. B'misa. And if you're correct, and you start making gzeiros, this, because of this, even in a case where Yom Tov falls out in the middle of the week, I'm making gzeira to here, I'm making Shabbos gzeira to there. So make a gzeira on this egg that you found inside a chicken. What about a chicken that lays an egg? That's asur. So if a chicken doesn't lay the egg, you killed it before it laid it, it should also be asur. The Gemara says the famous Yisod, Rabbanan don't make gzeiros on things that are not common. It's not common to find a complete egg in the chicken because the chicken would just leave the egg would just leave the chicken if it was complete. So to find one like that is very uncommon. Fine. Now, we're going back to this. We spoke about Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says that Basil say the egg is also on Yom Tov because of muktzah. Rabbi says it's because it's prepared on Shabbos. Only in that case. And now we're talking about Rav Yosef and Rav Yitzchak, who say almost identical things. They're very, very similar. Rav Yosef says the reason is Gzeirim Shum Peres HaNoishrim. This egg looks like a fruit that fell off a tree. A fruit that falls off a tree on Shabbos is asur to eat. So, Memela goes like this. Here's a fruit that fell off a tree. You're not allowed to eat a fruit that fell off the tree. Asks Abaya why? Because you might come to pick it off the tree. Picking off the tree is koitza issa d'oraisa. So this is asur. And because this is asur, this is also asur. A chicken laying an egg, it's like a fruit falling off a tree. Looks similar. It's not the same thing. There's no isser tzira by it, but it looks. Abaya, Peres HaNoishrim, time of mine. Top of Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. Gzeira mishum shemo ya'ale v'yitlosh. Perhaps you might come and pick a fruit off the tree. Asks Abaya, higu v'gzeira, v'nanekum v'nigzor gzeira l'gzeira. And we're gonna go 2 steps away and say this is asur. Now I want to stop it for a second, and Taisus points out a beautiful question. Why is it asur to pick fruit on Yom Tov from a tree? We're talking about Yom Tov here. Why is it asur? It's oichel nefesh. I'm allowed to kill a chicken on Yom Tov. I'm allowed to make I'm allowed to cook on Yom Tov. So I can't pick an apple off a tree on Yom Tov. Rabbi say, you're allowed to pick an apple off a tree on Yom Tov. I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? You allowed to? You're not allowed to. It's oichel nefesh. No. You think the Taisus takes it back? I mean, no, you're allowed to. No, you're not allowed to. What's the difference? It says Taisus beautifully. If you look all the way at the end where it becomes very, very wide, and the Taisus, 2 lines down, and Taisus says, Al came Pirush Rabbeinu Nisan Mekinoin. Dibshalmi, yesh. It says in the pasuk, Achasher yiachal l'chol nefesh, v'samach lein, a pasuk right next to it, Ushmartim misam matzois. Oisa melachis shemeshimur ve'elachim mutaros. The only thing that's allowed on Yom Tov, a big yisoid in halacha for Yom Tov, from this Taisvus, the only thing that's mutter to be mechal Yom Tov, so to speak, on Yom Tov for food, is from lisha on, kneading the bread, because in the pasuk it says matzois and it says shima. Great, so we know new yisoid. You can't do all lamites and lachas on Yom Tov in order to get to the food. Okay. Big. You can't. Right, you cannot make challah on Yom Tov. You have to have the dough, the lisha part, and then you could braid it and put it in the oven. But you cannot make it, says Yosef, my twin, on Yom Tov. Says the Gemara, Kula, this is an unbelievable teretz, Kula chodik zerehi. So if we're looking, what did I do with it? Says the Gemara, no, you have it wrong. It's not pshat that this is the gzeira, and because of this, I made another gzeira. When Chachamim made the gzeira, they said chickens are included. Anything that drops out of a tree, out of an animal, out of a chicken, is also because somebody might come to do this. It's all within the same language. It's all within the same gzeira. Not that it is the same and acts the same, but it's within the same language. Now we have another pshat. It's literally almost word for word, but it's different. The 4th pshat. We're concerned a chicken laying an egg is similar to liquids that come out of a fruit. And you're not allowed to squeeze a fruit on Shabbos. It's a tolda, says Rashi, of dash, of separating the chaff from the wheat. So you're not allowed to do it. It's a tolda. And Memela, this looks like liquids that come out of a fruit. This is an egg that comes out of a chicken. The same idea. Yischoid. I say Yischoid. I must be tired. You're right. Unbelievable. The problem is that you might come to do dash. You might do a told of dash of squeezing. Again, you're going 2 steps away. Pretend to have a picture here of schita and liquid just coming out by itself. So this would be liquids coming out by itself, not over here. Liquids coming out by itself because you might come to squeeze. Says the Gemara, Kula Chodik Zerihi. When they instituted and they said, you can't use any liquids that came out of a fruit by itself. Forget about you squeezing it. They said, even a chicken, even an egg that comes out of a chicken, you're right, it's very different, but it's within that gzera. It's within that language. Says the Gemara, Kulo, now you know why I made this chart. These 3 don't say like Rav Nachman, who says the problem in our Mishnah is muktzah. An egg on Yantiv is muktzah, and they still say just on Yantiv there's a problem muktzah. On Shabbos there's no muktzah. Why? Kikushan. The question that all 3 had on Rav Nachman was, if the problem is muktzah, why are you talking about the egg that came out of a chicken? Talk about the chicken itself. It's a chicken that's there to lay eggs. I didn't emphasize enough when we were learning it. Rabbah is talking about a chicken that's for food. All these are talking about chicken for food. Rav Nachman is the only one that says it's a chicken that's there to lay eggs. And since it's there to lay eggs, I like it. Now you have the cartoon. He's there for food. Because no, listen, I was looking for a chicken that's alive, that's about to die and be food. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't just get a chicken that's dead. That's a dead chicken. A live chicken that's oimed la'achila. Here, I found a semi-decent. He's kind of scared, this guy.
It's a little late.
Why is it late?
It's a little late.
He's cooked. How's he scared? What are you saying? He's not cooked. Would you eat this? Is this Abraham and Achai? Okay, so it's perfect. It's a perfect picture. Exactly. What?
It's a picture of laying an egg.
No, it's not. No. They're not scared. They thought it's a chicken laying an egg going into labor. No. Why would it be on a plate? Chach Michel, and we have here in this year. We have unbelievable. We got to replace some of these guys here. Says the Gemara, Kirabele Amri Hachana Les Lahu. Okay, so now why do these 3 not go like the blue rabbi who says the problem is that you can't prepare on Shabbos? Because they don't hold of it. They don't hold that you're not allowed to prepare from Yontif to Shabbos. Shabbos to Yontif. And it's natural kind of preparation. El Rav Yosef, my time Rabbi Yitzchak. So Gemara understands that these 2, Rav Nachman and Rabbi, don't want to get involved. It looks like squeezing an orange. You might come to pick an apple off a tree. Okay, they don't want it. But these 2 are so similar. One says you might come to pick an apple. One says you might come to squeeze. So why don't they say like each other, asks the Gemara? There must be a good reason. Oh my Lord, Beitzah uchla, upeiros uchla. You hear what the Gemara says? That answers my question that I asked before about a guy eating an egg on Shabbos. Is an egg a liquid or a salad? Says the Gemara, Beitzah uchla. Egg is a salad. So you would have to eat a keseves agasa yom kippur, not a maloi lugmav, like liquid. Or in order to make a bracha achroina, you have to eat a kezayis of an egg, not a revius of an egg. Very important for those chazanim out there.
No, it's machloket between Yosef and Yitzchak.
Okay, but I think that's how we pass it. Amalach Beitzah uchla, upeiros uchla. La puki mashkin, the lav ochla. So, Rav Yosef, why is he not concerned with liquids? It looks like, because an egg is not liquid. You can't compare an egg coming out of a chicken to liquids that come out of an orange. It's not a liquid. You're talking about 2 different things. It's a solid. Okay, fine. Now, Rabbi Yitzchak, why did he say the problem is that it looks like a fruit falling off a tree? Allah Beitzah belua umashkin bluim. The egg is within a chicken, and the liquids are within the fruit. But when a guy goes up a tree, here's the fruit. It's right there in front of him. So there's no connection between an egg and fruit. That's why I'm not geyser. I'm not chayshish for somebody picking an apple off a tree. It has no connection to an egg that's inside a chicken. Says Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion, the final opinion of Rabbi Yitzchak, that has to do with liquids. So listen to this thing. Very interesting Gemara. The Rabbi Yochanan Rami, the Rabbi Yehuda, the Rabbi Yehuda, Umishani. Because you see from a contradiction that Rabbi Yochanan had, you see what was going through his mind. You see that the only thing that Rabbi Yochanan was thinking about over here is that there's a problem of schita, of squeezing. Tnan, it says in the Mishnah, you're not permitted to squeeze fruit on Shabbos. Let's say, take a lemon and give it a little squeeze for your fish. It's also on Shabbos. And if you have a little lemon juice that came out by itself, was sitting in the refrigerator and it came out, also to use on Shabbos. If it's for food, then it's mutter. Depends what you want it for. Now, what is an egg? What's an egg? Since an egg is not for squeezing, so obviously Rabbi Yehuda holds that an egg is food. Okay? So there's no gzeira according to Rabbi Yehuda of mashkim. You're not going to confuse an egg with liquids. Alma. So ask Rabbi Yochanan, Alma kol oichlin Rabbi Yehuda uchlu divrasu. See from here that all food, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is just breakaway. Let's say I cut a slice of bread and there's crumbs on the table. Is that liquid that came out? If I cut an orange and I want it for food and a little juice came out, it's not juice. It's part of the orange I was cutting. Pieces came out. Vermino, but I'm asking you a question. Okay, this is very interesting that we're going to be discussing Rosh Hashanah here and there. Popping Rosh Hashanah is coming up any day, and we're talking about Rosh Hashanah all the time. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah are two gedushas, meaning they're two separate individual. It's a sveika diyayma. I don't know if the first day is Yantif. I don't know if the second day is Yantif. The other way to look at it is, we'll see on Amud Beis, it's one long day. It's 48 hours of Yantif. I don't care if the whole world knows that the moon came out and Rosh Chodesh is over here and today is Rosh Chodesh, today is Rosh Hashanah. Because the whole concern is, Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Chodesh are the same day, so other people won't know about it, even in Eretz Yisrael. Everybody knows about it. It doesn't matter. Rosh Hashanah is 48 hours. Why? It's one long day. Rabbi Yehuda holds no. It's 24 hours, and the second day could be completely weekday. Or the first day is completely weekday, and the second day is Yantif. If so, he says like this. I'll just say about that. We know that you have to take trumas and maisras from this over here. Trumas and maisras from all your fruit. Now, what are trumas and maisras? Now, here's another email I didn't have a chance to read. It says like this. I recently rearranged my desk to make it introducive to learning. You'll notice 3 crucial things. The Gemara open. Tip, use a binder clip to keep it open. And your Trumas and Maisers chart in the background, constantly reviewing the basics can be really important. And yes, you in the bottom right corner of the right monitor. Keep up the amazing work. Noach Kaplan from Oak Park, Michigan. Here's the picture. Look what he has here. Right over here. Okay? It's better than a picture of me in the sukkah. Tum and Tyra. Okay, so the guys that heard a few shiurim, they know this chart about Peh. And Tum and Tyra, when we come to these kind of sugyas, they say, like Marty Dauber from Chicago says, when he sees Tum and Tyra, and Trumas and Maishes says, now it's an easy sugya. Easy. We're not going into the sugya today. I'm just bringing it because I got the cool email. But anyway, if you have a bunch of fruit, you take 2% and give it to the Kayin, and you take whatever's left over from the 98%, you take 10% and give it to the Levi. That's Truma and Meiser. Forget about this. Then the Levi has to take 10% for his own 10% and give it to the Kayin, and you give 10% to yourself. Great. We're not going into that. But what happens is, you're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. Shabbos and Yom Tov, you can't take Trumas and Maisers. Says Rabbi Yehuda, what if you forgot to take Trumas and Maishras? Your wife comes and it says, okay, make a yiratzon on the pomegranate. Oh, I forgot to take Trumas and Maishras. Now what do? So on the first night, you don't have an Eitzah, there's nothing to do. But for the second night, says Rabbi Yehuda, you can make it tonight. On the first night, you take the pomegranate and you say, if tonight is Yontif, Hashem, forgive me. I didn't mean to say what I'm about to say. I'm saying it's Trumas and Maishras. But if today is not Yontif, today's a weekday, so my Trumas and Maishras work. Today's just a regular Tuesday. And if tomorrow is Yontif, so you do the same thing on both days. And in Manav Shach, you could eat the fruit. Because if the first day is a weekday, so my Trumas and Maishras worked on the first day. And if the second day is a weekday, so the Trumas and Maishras worked on the second day. So you do it either way. Here it is inside. The only day you could eat is on the second day, of course, not on the first day. Because the first day might be Yontif, and then you're not allowed to take Trumas and Maishras on Yontif. He says, Beitzah, and so too, an egg that was laid on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. It was laid on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. So either the first day is Yontif, so you can't eat it, but you can eat it on the second day because the second day is a weekday. And if the second day is Yontif, you're allowed to eat an egg that was laid Erev Yontif, that's okay. Says the Gemara, but you see from here that Rabbi Yehuda has a problem with eggs. A second ago you said Rabbi Yehuda doesn't have any problem with eggs. Eggs is food and there's no gzeira of schita. You hear what's going on here? It's so pashut and gevaldik. Gemara is a contradiction. It seems like Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of schita. And if he doesn't hold of schita, of gzeira of schita, so then why can't you eat an egg on Yontif? Well, there's three other reasons here. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda holds that the problem is muktzah. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda holds the problem is achana. Maybe the Rabbi Yehuda holds the problem is that you might come to pull an apple off a tree. No, Rabbi Yochanan is not concerned with any of these reasons. Rabbi Yochanan is just thinking one thing. How come there's no problem of schita? And he has the contradiction. Rabbi Yochanan answers, he had such a bomb question. How could it be that Rabbi Yehuda starts off saying that eggs don't have schita and therefore you're allowed to eat them on Yontif? And then all of a sudden he says, you can't eat it on Yontif. Could you eat an egg on Yontif according to Rabbi Yehuda or not? Over here it says, he brings the diuk, you cannot eat an egg on Yontif. Basheni, on the second day of Rosh Hashanah you could. But on the first day you can't eat an egg. What could possibly be the reason? Rabbi Yehuda says himself, there's no schita. An egg is solids, and there's no connection between an egg that's a solid to somebody squeezing out an orange. But he says you can't eat an egg on... so you see from here that Rabbi Yochanan holds that the main problem of an egg on Yontif is squeezing. Otherwise, if he didn't hold that, he wouldn't have this contradiction. End of the story. Daf Gimel Amud Beis, turning another sponsorship by Shlomo Lalezarian from Los Angeles in honor of my wife, who allows me to prepare for the shir a few hours a day. Sponsored also by the MDY Tehillim group for all those who need Shidduchim, Refuas and Yeshuos. Please join tehillim.amindav.com. By the way, Shlomo Lalezarian and whoever put that out there, it's $1,000 to say shkoyach to my wife. I really appreciate it. Ravina Omar, top of Daf Gimel Amud Beis. You asking me a contradiction in Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yochanan said that there's a difference between that you have to flip. It's not Rabbi Yehuda. It's not Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda actually says that eggs are okay. Rabbi Yehuda, you're right. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that says there's no gzeira of mashkim on an egg, but he's talking to Rabbanan. I say an egg is a salad, and if it's a salad, there's no gzeira of the schita. There's nothing to do with schita, with wringing out you can't wring out an egg. It's a salad. Just like you can't wring out a steak. There's no chashash, there's no gzeira. But I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, Chacham. I allowed you to eat the egg even on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. It's just solid food that came from a solid animal. It's another piece of the animal. By the way, I saw a wild Chassam Sofer. He says that an egg, a lot of people are mechulek on him, an egg is Ever Menachai. It's a part of the chicken. It's a piece of a food, and the food, guess what, is alive and well. A whole nafkamina would be, could a guy eat it? They're mechuyev in Shabbos minutes of every menachai. The Torah gave us permission to eat it. A whole. They hold it's what do they hold? That it's part of a chicken? They hold it's okay, I don't know what they hold. Never got into it. We'll ask our vegan friends one day.
Yeah, vegan friends.
Many. The shir has great friends. One of the biggest supporters of the shir is vegan.
Is it MDY vegan group?
No, there isn't. Wow.
Vegan siyum coming soon.
Vegan siyum. I think that's what's going on in Chicago. It's a vegan siyum. Nobody wants to show up over there. All right. How come you don't agree to me that on the second day of Rosh Hashanah you should make a memanavshach? You should allow an egg. The shtei kedusha saying. You hear? How come you don't say? Now, by the way, the level of the shir is going down now because Mechavrusa just walked in and he listens to every word and he gives me RS later. Okay. Avi, do me a favor, tell him. But according to you, don't you agree that Rosh Hashanah is considered two separate days? It's a Sveika D'Yayma. One day is 100% weekday, and if it's 100% weekday, you should be able to eat the egg on the second day. Mimman Avshach. The Rabbanon come along and they say, no, it's not a Sveika D'Yayma. We hold it's one long Kedusha, and that's it. Okay, so we see interesting, so many Yisaitis on this one daf, so many ideas that we didn't see, we don't know. Rosh Hashanah could be one long Kedusha, and it's coming up. How do we view Rosh Hashanah 2 days in Eretz Yisrael? Is it because in America they do it 2 days and that's why we do it? Or no, it's supposed to be 48 hours. Another pshat. You hear this pshat, very simple. You know why Rav Yehuda answers it? Because we're not talking about the chicken on the plate that's for food and it's not muktzah. We're talking about a chicken that's there to lay eggs. It's there to lay eggs. It's muktzah. Rabbi Yehuda Tamei, right? Who's the famous one that says muktzah? Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Reb Shimon, like we had in the first daf of Beitzah. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that holds there is muktzah, and this chicken is muktzah, and that's why the egg is also. Meisvei. Now, we have a general question on all these shittas right here. Well, we're going to start picking at the shittas. Meisvei. If an egg was laid on Shabbos or Yontav, you cannot move it. The famous muktzah that we know of, you can't touch, you can't move. Right? You're allowed to, if you don't touch, if you don't move, you're allowed to use, but you're not allowed to move. You can't lift it up and use it as a cover for some vessel. So this I always found very interesting. Can an egg support a bed? For whatever reason, the guy couldn't find. Think about it. They didn't have material then. They didn't have plastics. They didn't have. He had an egg. He had a chicken that laid eggs. So he takes an egg. His bed is a little lopsided. He takes an egg, puts it under. I mean, to me, it would be like if you have a bad dream or something, you do a little flip, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, whatever. But just this morning, I found this. I thought this was very interesting to show you. Can an egg support a human being? So here in China, they had 256 eggs that supported a car. Here it is. Beautiful job they did here. They put the eggs. I saw the whole thing, the whole video. Here are the eggs. It's all glass. You could see. They just here's the lift, and the lift just lowers the car down on the eggs, and you see the weight 3,500 pounds for these eggs. So I don't know. You do the math. 256 divided by 3. I'm sure it's not as much as a bed in a human being for one egg, but okay, maybe it's four legs. It's only one leg. Fine. What are you tying, Lauren?
Try and break an egg in one hand, not with your fingers like that, but in your palm of your hand. Try and break it.
I could do it. You probably can't. Yeah. No, he said Iron Man could do it. Iron Man, that's your friend Lauren Spiegelman from Toronto. Okay. Yeah, I hear. No, it's probably very difficult. I've seen people stand on eggs, different eggs, like ostrich, and that side, it's impossible. Okay. So a person wants to use an egg. Wow, we're falling behind there. I'm sorry, the shear started a little late, so we're going to continue for a few minutes. People are coming in for slichas. You are permitted to take a vessel and put it on top of the egg. What would be the problem with that? Because you're moving a kli, l'tzorech, something that's not nitel, something that doesn't move. Fine. Usfeika asura. So now the Gemara understands that sfeika just means we don't know when exactly it was born. Was it laid on Yantiv or before Yantiv? Vim nisarva be'elef kulam asuras. And if this egg was mixed in with 1,000, they're all 1,000 are asur. Now, ask the Gemara. Bish loim l'Rabba. Going back over here. Rabba says hachana. The whole problem in the Mishnah is the egg because it was created the day before on Shabbos, and we're talking about a yontif that's on a Sunday. So the egg is also midiraisa. That's why all 1,000 eggs, you have one egg that fell in, one egg that possibly was laid on yontif, fell into 1,000 eggs, they're all also. But these two sheets right over here that say that it's just a gzera, you might come to squeeze an orange or you might come to pick an apple. There's a cute story about the Beis Halevi, I believe. A girl came to him and said, my mother asked me, I have 4 eggs on Yantif. Can I cook these eggs? Says the Beis Halevi, tell your mom to wait until the night. So his Talmidim said, what just happened? Why can't you cook eggs? He says, why would a woman send her daughter to ask me, could you cook an egg on Yantiv? Everybody knows you can cook an egg on Yantiv. Because what happened was, the chicken laid an egg, and one of those eggs got mixed into 4, and I think that's the pshat in her question, and Mela, it's a suffix, you gotta wait until after Yantiv. That's the Zakman HaMaisa. Okay. If you're telling me that what? Sorry. Seifa asan l'safek treifa. Says the Gemara. No, did I skip? Says the Gemara. No. Seifa asan l'safek treifa. We're not talking about whether or not the egg was laid on Yantiv. We're talking about whether or not this egg came from a chicken that's a treifa. Let's say the chicken is missing its head, like in that picture. Whatever, a massive mum that it's a treifa. And it lays an egg, you're not allowed to eat that egg. And now that egg got mixed in with other eggs, what do you do? So we're not talking about Yantav here. Says the Gemara Bamkash. You're telling me it's a suffix of a treifa. Nisarva be'el of kulam asurais. Iyamers b'shleim suffix Yantav suffix chol. Have a dover sheish l'matir. There's a concept of something that's going to become mutter. Now an egg that's laid on Yantav, it becomes mutter. You just have to wait until after Yantav, you're allowed to eat it. So therefore, it's 1 out of 1,000, you have to throw them all out. This is counterintuitive, Rabbi Isai. Suffix treifa, which is worse, it's terrible, is more kal. Why? Because suffix treifa, maybe this egg came from a chicken that's completely treif. It can never be mutter. You can't wait 4 days and today you could eat it. Why could you eat it? What's today different than yesterday? An egg that was laid on Yantav, you just wait 24 hours after Yantav, you can eat it. So therefore, tibata baruba. And if you're going to tell me that we're talking about something significant, like an egg, and something significant does not become batal, it doesn't become nullified. There's a shaila. Do we go by things that are counted, you sell them individually? Like today, the shach says all eggs are sold by the dozen. In the time of the shach still. You never sell an egg by weight. It always goes by the number. Therefore, it's significant. It can never become batal. But we'll see from the Gemara, the time of the Gemara is different. So, but it says, kol shedarke limonos and es shedarke limonos. The difference between kol and es. Kol means sometimes you sell eggs by the dozen, sometimes you sell them by the weight, whatever. But it has to be specific, only in a certain way, only when you sell it by the number, by the dozen, and no other way, like we do today, I think. I don't know any other place. There's no store that sells eggs by the way. I hope I'm right. It's only by the amount. That's S. It's only. Everywhere.
Vegan stores.
Michael Meimar. This nan. Tilton shel klaya kerem. Yeah, look at Rashi. Rashi says about tilton. He says fenigar, and in English it's called fenugreek. Tilton, and I guess the stalk of that is very important. Yidolku. So klaya kerem is you're not allowed the isur deraisa to plant the chamishas, the dagan in the vineyard. You're not allowed to plant certain vegetables in the vineyard. So if you have this tilton that grew in the vineyard, you have to burn it, yidolku. And if it got mixed in with other ones, including yidolku, divir meir, no, you can get away 1 out of 2. If it's 1 in 200, then it's okay. If it's something that's the only way you sell it is by amount, it's mekadesh and makes everything awesome. Okay, we'll continue here on Mazel Shabbos. I just want to tell you a beautiful story, a beautiful chap. I thought in halacha. In a hotel, a woman took a chair in the dining room. She wanted to light her candles in the dining room of the hotel. She took a chair and put the candles on the chair and lit the candles. After the candle, an hour or two. Now, what does that chair become? A basis l'dava asur. It's asur to touch that chair on Shabbos, to move it. Comes the Arab, takes the candles off. He was probably upset with chutzpah. Takes the chair, sets up. Comes the woman's husband, Talmud Chacham, and says, Rabbi, you can't sit down on the chairs in the whole dining room because one of the chairs is my wife's chair and it's basis l'dava asur and it's not batal b'rayv. No, it sounds funny, but why? The Tzlach says a beautiful chap here. Davar sheyesh matirim, and he said it's a davar sheyesh matirim. You could sit on the chair on Motzei Shabbos. So it's a davar sheyesh matirim. Since it's going to be a heter tomorrow, today it's also to sit on the chair. Says the Tzlach, you only say davar sheyesh matirim like an egg. An egg, I could either eat it today or I could eat it tomorrow. So wait until tomorrow. You didn't lose anything by waiting till tomorrow. But a chair, the usage is today. I can never get back my usage today that I'm going to do tomorrow. Yes, you're going to sit on the chair tomorrow, but the 3 hours I wanted to sit on my chair today, you lost completely. So that's the Eiler Matirim. So therefore, you're allowed to use all the chairs. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos, 9:30.